But the change that's coming, I think, is going to be quite drastic. And people are going to be shocked. And people are going to be like, wait a minute, what happened? It's going to be like, yeah, well, we were in this really contentious time for 4 years where everybody was on a side and everybody was fighting. And that's where people derived all the meaning from life, in the battle. All the meaning that people got out of life these last 4 years has been fighting someone or something, whether they were really fighting them or not. That's the entirety of the last 4 years. And what I think is going to happen now is that with Trump going away, sorry guys, I think that that's going to, we're still going to have the fighting to a degree, but it's going to be lessened, dramatically lessened by circumstances. And then the last 8 months, COVID's been going on for 8 months. COVID has reshaped and restructured the economy in horrible ways. We have Whitney Webb on to talk about the people that are trying to use COVID to reshape things permanently and whether they're going to be successful or not. So I'm not discounting that. I'm not saying that that is a completely improbable conclusion to come to, right? That this is going to have lasting effects. It will, like 9/11. It's going to have lasting effect. We're still fighting a fake war on terrorism, kind of.
Sure.
Even though we're not, we are. And COVID will still be around, but it's going to go away. And then when it's done, people are going to go back out. They're going to go back out. People are going to have to go back out and figure out how they're going to earn a living, how they're going to make money. Relationships are going to end. COVID relationships are going to end. Friendships are going to end. Dude, I look at some of my friends now and I'm like, do I like this person or have we been quarantined? Are we even friends or are we just reacting to this weird situation that we're in? There are people in relationships right now that they know the vaccine means it's over. They know a vaccine means it's over. I have friends that I know when a vaccine or whenever herd immunity, when the cases start plummeting and people can go back out on the road again, I have friends I know I'll barely speak to. And that's okay because I know that this was a time that meant something that mattered. We all lived through it together. We all got through it however we got through it. But I know that don't make too many decisions right now.
Right.
Because when things end, you're going to want the freedom to then evaluate things and go, wait a minute, this is not the life I want. These are not the people I want to surround myself with. You know, me and Carney were on the road, and it was so wild to be on the road doing stand-up comedy for the first time in probably 5 months. When I started stand-up, it was August, September of 2010. And I had gone about a decade and I almost 11 years without taking more than I would say a week off, maybe 10 days, maybe. And that was once or twice. I had done stand-up comedy for the majority of that time, for about a decade. I mean, all the energy that I had in my life was devoted to doing stand-up comedy wherever I could. And then the quarantine happened, and also podcasting and sketches or whatever. And then the quarantine happened, and for the first time, I didn't have something to do on Tuesday night. I didn't have to go to the Comedy Store and do a spot. And I had 37 or 40 weekends booked for this year before I had to cancel my tour because of Corona, because they canceled everything. So I was sitting in an apartment with no stand-up and no weekends, and then this podcast became my main focus. And this podcast will remain my main focus even when things open up, because we do a show here that's good and it's interesting and it's funny, hopefully, and people enjoy listening to it. And it'll always be my main focus, but I also love stand-up, and I love getting out of my house. I love doing stand-up. I love the time, the shows we had in West Palm and Tampa and Dallas and all these places were great. And Nashville, and getting out and seeing real people. You miss that. You miss seeing human beings. Not after a few weeks of doing it. You want to come right back home.
Right.
You hope somebody eats another bat. And you go, lock me down again. Newsom, lock me down. But, you know, I'm kidding. You need to be out there. You need to meet people. But, you know, Dan had lived in New York. He was a kid pursuing what he wanted to do, doing stand-up, going out, having fun, dating people, all the New York shit. Like, I'm a New York guy, you know? And then quarantine happened and he moved back home. It was like this culture shock. And like, you know what I mean? So me and him then emerged, and it was like tough because we're spending all this time together, and like you barely know how to be around another human being. Because I'd only been around you, and you're like a vault of emotion, you know? You don't really show emotions. So like when I was with that kid, like me and him, like, and it was great. We had a great time, and we worked out our shit because it was like you're in close proximity with another human being, and you had been in jail. You had just gotten out of jail. And now you're like, oh, fuck, life is starting again. And then it ended up being great. And I think Dan's going to come out here and move out here and be more a part of what we do. And I'm happy about that. But this is what I mean. I'm using that as just a little example of like, you know, you're going to get out of jail, folks. You're going to get out of jail. So don't be too certain about everything until you're out of jail. And then when you're out of jail, you might say to yourself, hey, listen, I want to go back to jail, which is what a lot of people do. Recidivism rate's very high. A lot of people like to go back to prison. They get out, they go, you know, the outside's not for me. Yeah. I don't want to work at Walmart. Maybe I'll move some weight on the street. Let me get into the numbers game a little bit. I learned my lesson. I know how to be a good criminal now. I'll be good at it. But it's going to be interesting to see how the world and people that I know, you know, deal with this, because this has fucked our heads up. This has fucked everybody I know's head up. Everybody I know, their head has been fucked up. If your head has not been fucked up, I mean, you're a cold-blooded sociopath, and God bless you. I respect that and I admire it. But for most people, this thing has fucked our heads up. Not being able to go out, see our friends and our families. I mean, how many nice things do I say about my family? Every week. I am so disheartened to not be seeing them for Christmas and Thanksgiving this year, and also retroactively for the past 5 years.
Right.
But there's going to be a new chapter coming, and I think people are scared of that, and I think people are scared of that because I think so many people, some people are doing well now. I'm doing good. We're doing good. The show's doing good. I hope it keeps doing good. I think a lot of people are not doing good, and they're used to that, and they're used to being bitter or cynical or angry or depressed or whatever. I think people get comfortable wherever they are, and they look at what's going on around them, and they go, well, there'll always be this external stimuli. There'll always be this, you know, noose around my neck. But it's not. It's going to be loosened. You're going to be able to go out, you know? And I don't mean go out just physically. I mean like mentally in your head. You're going to be able to live in a world, hopefully, without this shit happening all the time. And I think the media is going to chill out. I think everyone's going to chill the fuck out. Maybe I'm wrong. I can hear people getting so mad at this episode. They're like, no, it won't. Yeah. No, it's not. You don't know, dude. It's going to be like, trust the plan. Mm-hmm. You don't know. It's going to be like this forever and ever because you like it. That's the thing. You like it. That's why you don't want to envision another way. You've gotten so used to this. You like sitting on your couch and hating Donald Trump. It gives you something to do. Or loving Donald Trump. It gives you something to do. It gives your life a sense of purpose to sit there and be on a team and root for a team and root against another team. This is what gives you a sense of identity. And unfortunately, I think that's going to go away. And you're going to have to do something else, like, I don't know, Scrabble, scrapbooking. So many great scrapbooks got fucked up by Trump. Like so many middle-aged women who would have just been really good scrapbookers, it got fucked up by Trump. They just had to sit there and drink wine and curse at TV for 4 years. There would have been some really cool family photo albums being made. Yeah. Instead, I have ants on Facebook talking about QAnon instead of doing what they should be doing, like kicking ass in the kitchen and scrapbooking. Ladies. So how's about we get back to that? Let's get off Reddit. Let's stop with the pretend you're hunting pedophiles and everybody's going to Guantanamo Bay and then Jesus is going to come down and cancel your student loan debt and, going to take you to Sonic one last time before you ascend. Let's cut all that shit out. It's not going to happen. Move the fuck on. Life is not supposed to be the same goddamn thing forever. And the last 4 years have felt like forever. The last 8 months have felt like forever. We're in a lockdown again. Nancy Pelosi is somehow at 99 years old, again, the Speaker of the House. Again. They never leave. Hillary Clinton's in the news again this week. Like, none of them ever stop. None of them ever go away. It's boring. I want to leave the country. Rogan went to Austin. I want to get out of the country. Truly, I want to get out of the fucking country. We did a deep COVID clean on the house. I'm moving out of Palm Springs. We're getting out of here. I'm out of the desert. I'm moving because I believe in moving all the time. Mm-hmm. I'm moving into the valley. In LA, I'm going to stay there for a while. We'll see what the fuck happens. Maybe in a year I go to Texas. Maybe I go, fuck it, I want to go to Florida, I go to Texas, go wherever. I don't care. You got to keep moving. It keeps you alive. You know? Like that's what you need in life. And I feel like the aversion to it, that dinner I had the other night where everybody's like, oh, Trump's not going anywhere and nothing's going to change. I'm like, dude, it's all going to change. Everybody going to college, no one's going to be friends anymore. Or you will, but it'll be different. Trump will be around, but it'll be different. He'll say something and everybody go, yeah. He'll do the media. He'll do the round of interviews. I mean, don't worry about it. You're not gonna have to go cold turkey on Trump. I don't think he's disappearing tomorrow. You're not gonna have to do cold turkey. You'll take your Suboxone. There'll be a phase out. There'll be a gradual step down process. But I guarantee you a year from now, somehow Trump's still in office a year from now. Right. Still COVID going on. Right. People are sending me chunks of this episode like, hey, smart ass, remember when you said? I'm like, well, I was wrong. But I do believe that people are just going to have to accept that a phase is coming to an end here. And then a new phase is going to begin. It could be worse, could be better. I don't know what the fuck's going to happen.